You know, there's a level of discipline that's so intense it actually makes people look at you with a little bit of fear. It's a kind of consistency that's so unbreakable, so relentless, that it almost seems unnatural. Today, we're going to break down exactly how to build that.
I mean, we've all met someone like that, right? That one person who just never seems to fail. While everyone else is falling off the wagon, they just keep going. While the rest of us are making excuses, they just show up. It's a consistency that feels almost superhuman.
Well, it turns out there's actually an ancient system built by Zen monks that is designed to produce this exact kind of frightening consistency. It's called Gyoji, and it literally translates to the practice that perpetuates itself. And once you really get the mechanics of it, you might never break a goal again.
So to really understand how Gyoji works, let's start with a story. A story that's probably going to feel very, very familiar. It's about that universal struggle with inconsistency.
So this is Raphael. Super smart guy, really successful in his career as a programmer, but he had this one massive problem. He just couldn't stick to anything. The gym, meditation, reading, you name it. He tried all the apps, the rewards, the accountability partners, but nothing ever lasted for more than a couple of weeks.
And this little timeline right here probably looks painfully familiar. Monday, he starts off with total, unshakable motivation. But by Wednesday, that little voice starts creeping in, right? The mental negotiation begins. Maybe I'll just skip today. And by Friday, it's just complete surrender, followed by that empty promise that, okay, next week will be different. But it never was.
Raphael was completely stuck in that cycle until he discovered the very first secret of the Zen monks. And it's a principle that completely changes the game by making your commitment, well, irreversible.
Think about this for a second. For over 800 years, at this one temple, a bell rings at 3:30 in the morning. And every single day, the monks get up. Not 3:25, not 3:35. In their minds, the question of if they'll wake up, it just doesn't even exist. It's not up for debate.
And this gets to the absolute core of the psychology. You see, our brain basically puts every promise we make into one of two boxes, reversible or irreversible. The reversible ones? Oh, those are wide open for negotiation. They drain our mental energy. But the irreversible ones, they just happen. The debate is over before it can even begin.
So Raphael took this idea and just went all in. He stopped making these quiet little promises to himself and made a huge public declaration. He wrote it down, signed it like a contract, and then he blasted it all over social media. He told his friends, his family, his coworkers. He made it completely and totally irreversible.
And get this, there's some powerful science behind this. Research from Harvard shows that when you go public like that, your primitive brain, your lizard brain, interprets failing as a social threat. It's like being cast out of the tribe. All of a sudden, giving up becomes way more painful than actually doing the work.
But even with all this intense social pressure, Raphael still found himself in an internal war every single morning. And that's what led him to the next layer of the Gyoji system, the rules of repetition. See, the monks have these two core rules that are designed to eliminate decision-making entirely. First, you set non-negotiable hours. That kills the question of when. Second, you standardize the practice. That kills the question of what. You're basically removing all the variables that your sneaky brain can try to negotiate with. And this is absolutely crucial. Raphael locked everything down. His routine became identical, day in, day out. The exact same exercises, the same order, at the exact same time. His friends kind of called him robotic, but they didn't get it. Variety is where consistency goes to die. And here's the neurological payoff. After about 66 days of this intense, boring repetition, the behavior actually moves to a different part of your brain, the basal ganglia. That's your brain's habit center. The action literally becomes automatic. Willpower isn't needed anymore because the practice is now running on its own. It's perpetuating itself. Okay, so Raphael's system was strong. The engine was built, but now it had to face the real world. And this is where that third principle comes in. Practice without gaps. No matter what. I just love this analogy. Your practice is like a river. Yeah, it might slow down to a trickle during a drought, but it never, ever stops flowing. The moment it stops completely, it's just a memory. A gap is where your old, inconsistent self crawls right back in. And of course, the real world hit him. Hard. He got sick. He had to travel for work. I mean, these are the moments where perfect conditions just vanish, and where most of us would have given up a long, long time ago. But this time was different. He actually did push-ups in an airport bathroom. He meditated in the back of his Uber. People were looking at him like he was absolutely crazy, which he took as a fantastic sign. The goal was never perfection. It was to maintain momentum and to never, ever create a gap.
And here's the final mechanical piece of the puzzle: pre-solving your problems. Zen monasteries have done this for centuries. Raphael literally wrote down every possible thing that could go wrong and created a pre-decided solution. When X happens, I will do Y. No thinking, no negotiation, just pure execution.
So after 90 days of this relentless practice, something much deeper happened than just building a new habit. He actually went through a fundamental transformation.
He hit his 90-day goal, sure, but by then, that wasn't even the point. He hadn't just changed what he did, he had fundamentally changed who he was. This is the core of what a lot of modern thinkers call identity-based habits. But really, it's a secret the monks have known for centuries.
And this is how he knew it had worked. His friends started saying things like, "Your consistency is scary." Someone even told him his discipline wasn't healthy. I mean, think about that. When people start calling you obsessive, you know you're operating on a level they just can't. You're proving that what they call impossible is really just uncomfortable.
And that is the ultimate secret of Gyoji. This system isn't about forcing yourself to do something every day. It's about forging a new identity. It's about becoming someone who simply can't imagine doing it any other way. You don't have to decide anymore. You simply are.
So the real question it leaves us with is this. This system isn't really about self-improvement. It's more about a death and a rebirth. It's about the death of your inconsistent self and the birth of someone who is truly unbreakable. So, are you ready for that transformation?